So just a couple other features I want to show you. So I've got my paragraph, my block here. I'm just going to click on the plus button, and I'm going to scroll down to common blocks. No, not common blocks, formatting. So under formatting, we've got this classic block now. When I click on this, it gives me the classic WordPress editor, which you guys won't necessarily be familiar with, but if you've been using WordPress before, then it gives you, this is what it used to kind of look like. We've got access to the shortcodes block here, which can be useful, but there's something I want to show you, which is this button here, this insert button. So I'm just going to press this. I do find it a little bit buggy, and I'll tell you why. You might even see an example of why it's buggy, but it is very useful, and you'll see what I've done around the site. So here you're going to create a button. So your button might say click here for resources. So this might be a link to a document somewhere, or link to another website, or link to another one of your posts. And then you'd have the link down here. I'm just going to link to one of these things. These are some of the past ones. I'm going to go to this English one there. We've got the option to open the link in a new tab, but what's important is you've got these other options for changing the way it looks. There's an example of the button. I've been using this template that I created here, which gives this look, and then you've got icons which are quite nice to put in front before or after your button. Quite a nice little feature. I think it really sets the button off. And then I'm just going to press update. Now sometimes it doesn't appear. It didn't appear. Do it again. Should do next time. So click here for resources. That's already in there. I'm going to choose. There we go. Go to my templates. Click that icon. I'll go with, it was that. And then update, and you can see there's my button there. I find that the buttons look better when they're center aligned. So preview that. And there we have a button. So though you can just use a link, that's fine, but that just looks just that little bit nicer, I think, than just a plain text link. And then of course we've got the shortcodes which we can use within here, which again is a nice little feature there. I'm just going to click on the spoiler one again. Just going to insert that here, and you can see it's inserted it in this kind of way rather than where you had to copy and paste it. It's inserted in that text way, which I think is quite good, because then you can move things around within that. So I'm just moving that button. I'm just going to stick that button in the middle of my spoiler. So there's my button with my spoiler. One last little bit I want to show you is boxes. So if I just go here, I'm just going to click up there, click to my shortcode. I'm looking for box. So here's my box. I'm going to give it a box title. Do give it a box title, even if you want to change that title later on, because if you don't, the sort of function to change the title won't appear, but you can give it any title and you'll be able to see it. So I'm looking for moderations when I come to edit it. You've got a few different styles. I'm going to go with glass. That's the one that I've used. I've already set this color because I've used it previously. I'm not necessarily bothered about other stuff. There's my box content, insert shortcode, and you can see, well, it's dropped it at the bottom there. So there's the title, like I say. So I can put stuff and things and stuff as my title. Now I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to put all of that in the box content. I should have got rid of the spaces above it as well, but you'll get the general gist. So because I didn't get rid of the spaces, you can see all that there. But you can see it's created a really nice looking box around my submit your work here, and of course all that content that I previously created is within that box. So it's quite a nice way to frame your page, or to make it just look quite nice, I think. Again, like I say, if I get rid of those spaces there, you can see that looks much better. Of course, get rid of those social buttons. And one last thing I think I'd like to just draw your attention to. I'm going to go to add block. It's this columns. I've got it in my most used because I've used it a few times. Is it layout elements? There it is, columns. So if I click on this, I've got some options for columns: 2 equal columns, small one on the left, large one on the right, 3 columns. I'm just going to use this 2 equal columns. I'm gonna try taking. Click on this plus, and I'm going to create just a general paragraph there. And then I'm going to take all this content. I'm just going to play around and see what happens here. Take all this content, and I'm going to stick all of that within that paragraph. See what happens there. Just see what happens. I'm going to do the same thing here. Actually, just copy that and paste that same stuff in there. And let's preview that. See what that looks like. So we should, in theory, have 2 boxes on 2 columns. So that's the previous box that I had. Now we've got the same boxes, just in 2 columns. So you can lay out your work in in columns, which I think can look quite nice. Especially if you've got something that has a lot of text on the left hand side, but not so much on the right. So the right ends up being empty. Well, you can have information there. So it was this method that I used. If you I've updated some of our alternative education stuff. If I just look at the contact us page, this is the method that I used to get text on the left and text on the right. Again, you can see this additional info thing that I used to hide information. At that point I couldn't be bothered putting something on the right, but you can see what I mean, what I'm talking about with that empty space on the right hand side. When I've got some energy, I'll move some of this stuff off to the right hand side. I also use the shortcodes to create the Google Maps, which I think was a nice little feature, and then I've hidden the Google Maps within the additional within one of these spoilers. I just changed the setting, so it's not that fancy one. I just changed it from fancy to something else, and it just creates that